Hey guys, Sam for Digital Meat. I thought it would be fun if maybe we watched the Maxon announcement together, and then we could chat about what that announcement is and sort of, chat amongst ourselves and give each other our thoughts on whatever it is that's going to be announced. So I will switch over to this to the stream screen, if you like. Let's give it a bit of volume as well while we're at it. Just while we wait. So we've got a couple of minutes to wait. Has anyone got any idea, or what are they hoping for? Let us know in the chat. We've got one person there saying, that's Crommy Club, saying Redshift, question mark. I don't know. Honestly don't know. I'm actually hoping for sort of UV tools and that kind of thing. So let me take a little swig of my drink. Yeah, I'm hoping for improved UV tools personally. I'd really like to see that. Can people in the chat let me know what the sound's like? Because I've got a fan on in my room because it is absolutely roasting here. So it'd be great if you could let me know if the sound is if that fan is causing problems. That'd be great. And yeah, so just a couple of minutes to wait. So what are you guys thinking? What are you hoping the announcement is? Ian Alexander says sounds good. So does Crommy Club. Darkside's in the chat as well. So is Paul. It's great. Okay, cool. Yeah, I just didn't want my voice to be drowned out by the desktop stuff that we're getting from the stream. Obviously, I'll turn that up when the announcement goes live. We've got less than a minute now. I'm actually quite excited about this. I hope it's something really good. Fingers crossed it's nothing to do with Adobe. That's all I'm hoping for. You know, if it's some awful news like Adobe buys out Maxon, I'd be gutted. But I don't think it's going to be that. We've got a few people that I was chatting to on Twitter the other day saying that they're hoping for better Redshift integration and that kind of stuff. Like I said, I myself are hoping that the UV tools are being updated because they're a bit archaic in nature. There's a lot of other people that were saying that they'd like to see a massive update to body paint. A lot of other people were saying that they'd like to see an update to the core in terms of multi-threading. Multi-threading the dynamic system and multi-threading maybe Espresso as well, and an update to Espresso in general. So so yeah, what do you guys think? I'd like to know what you guys are hoping for in the chat. Although that's largely irrelevant now because it's starting, I think. So let's turn this volume up. Oh no, we've got some more. Oh no, here we go. I think they're just getting their stream.
Hello.
Hello. I want Redshift built in the program. Yeah, a few people have been saying that. I'm hoping the desk. Oh, got a new subscriber. That is Mudassir SK. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm probably not. I'm probably butchering that to the ends of the earth. My apologies. Okay, it sounds like they're having a few technical difficulties.
Wow. Pointed that the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Good morning, Siggraph.
Here we go.
Good morning, interwebs. I'm Paul Babb, head of worldwide marketing for Maxon. It's been a crazy year since a lot of the switchover, and it is my distinct pleasure to introduce our CEO, who's going to be telling you some great stuff that's been happening the last year. Everybody's been working their butts off, and I should say, my name is Paul Babb, and I approve of this message.
Wow, good morning, everybody. I, for one, is extremely excited to be here at Siggraph this year. I'm with the most passionate company that I've gotten to work with, and we really live our vision statement, which is 3D for the real world. And
Okay.
when you're here and you get to meet some of our employees, or if you're out and about and you're talking to our employees, I think you'll really feel that they live every moment for making artists have the ability to create better and higher quality 3D content. And that's what we live and breathe, and that's what we're going to continue to do. And that passion makes it really, really fun to work at Maxon. And the artists that we get to work with is the joy that we have. And so everything we do is to make people creative. And today we're going to talk about how we're going to allow more people to be creative.
Do it.
And so let's get started. So we do want to talk about, obviously, our new release. Every year at Siggraph, we bring out new stuff.
Okay.
And so this year, we're going to have a new release. It's going to be out in September, and we're very excited about it. It's a great release. My favorite feature is Field Forces. This year, we had the distinct pleasure of being part of the SciTech Motion Picture Awards for MoGraph.
Okay.
And this year, we're going to add Field Forces to the MoGraph toolkit.
Excellent.
And it allows you to use the power of fields to control dynamic forces in animation. And it's my favorite feature because it's just fun. I mean, it's fluid, it's real time, it's just a blast to play with, and what people are going to create with this is going to be just great to see.
That's awesome.
At the same point, we're also going to, the basics of 3D, the first thing that most people learn in 3D is sort of extruding text. So we're going to be announcing a brand new caps and bevel feature that gives you really easy to use control of creating those caps and bevels. And it's not just for 3D text. It's for anything that you want to use, any of the spline objects. So you can use it with lathes, lofts, and sweeps. And you just get some great, amazing effects. And it's just as easy as it should be that you would be expecting from Cinema 4D.
Excellent. So that looks like it's getting an overall.
We're also going to be announcing great new character animation features.
Wow.
So we have a Mixamo rig for doing automatic rigging using Mixamo.
Excellent.
You can take those characters in and immediately just have them automatically rigged and be able to create different walk cycles, animations between those cycles, and it's going to really make it easier to do that character animation that you do so
That's
often.
going to be super, super helpful. That is really helpful, especially exporting to
That was one too
to
far.
things like
Oh no, technical problems.
especially exporting to things like Unity and game engines and
that
stuff
again.
like that. That's going to be cool. That's going to be
Excuse
super
me.
helpful.
All right. So real world 3D is about efficiency. So this release is extraordinarily fast. We've
Yes.
accelerated in all sorts of places. What we're showing here is the new Intel Open Image Denoiser. And what you
Wow.
can see is that you can take what would be a lower quality render in the past and immediately make it super high quality and fast using the denoiser from Intel. That's going to work with our standard renderer, but also because it's a post effect, it's going to work with Redshift and all those under renderers out there. And it gives you the ability to do production quality renders much faster than ever before.
And physical render, hopefully.
We also have the new Embry library.
I've got a lot of love
We'll
for
be
physical.
talking with Intel tonight to show you how powerful that is. And for keyframing, projects with a lot of keyframes, it's going to be noticeably faster and just across the board a better application to use.
So they're just making it faster in that respect.
But it's important that Cinema 4D stays up to the times. The operating systems, the GPUs, everything is changing. And so we're investing constantly in the core of Cinema 4D to make it faster and up to date. So in this release, we have high DPI on Mac and Windows, which makes it look really, really good on those expensive monitors that RB has. We have all support for the new Mac features, so we're ready for the new Mac OS that's coming out in the fall. We have dark mode and a menu bar and all sorts of great features for those Mac users out there. We're up to date with the latest Windows operating systems, and we're using the latest stuff from Intel and AMD for the performance.
Excellent.
That's just some of the features that we're highlighting today because we have a lot
What
more
else
to
we
talk
got here?
about.
Jesus.
But this release has a ton of other stuff. So it's got volumes, it's got the macOS support that I talked about, it's got nodes. We're having all sorts of trouble today.
Yeah.
There we go.
There
All right,
go.
we're back. And it's just got a lot of other features. It's going to be live on the website in a few minutes. There'll be videos and descriptions of all these features. So check that out.
Wow.
But we not just have Cinema 4D this year. It's the first time coming to Siggraph where we're joined with our new friends from Redshift. They're right over
I
there.
noticed
so
pro
you'll see them
rendering that.
afterwards. They
So
have
they're
a
not
ton of stuff to
binning
show
it.
as well. So we're showing out all the new Redshift stuff. They're going to be showing off Redshift 3, which is in a preview release right now that you can work with. It's got RTX support, so it's extremely fast.
Wow.
It's extremely fast without RTX because they've added all sorts of new optimizations. They're also going to be doing a sneak peek of Redshift RT, the first time it's going to be shown. So go take a look at that. It's very exciting. We're also announcing today that Redshift is coming to Google Zinc. So we're showing Google Zinc with Redshift behind us. So now you have Cinema 4D and Redshift on Google Zinc. So we're very happy about that. So we have all sorts of stuff going on. And as they announced at WWDC, they're working on the metal version of Redshift that'll be available by the end of the year. So we're really, really happy that Redshift's here with us. Go take a look at their booth.
I honestly
They're
think a
also
lot of
behind us,
people
and they
said
have a
goodbye
pod
to the
back here as
Mac
well.
in the last few the last few months.
Real World 3D is also about integration. We know that no matter what project you're working on, Cinema 4D is not going to be the only tool that you're using. You're going to be using tools throughout your entire pipeline. You're going to use stuff from Adobe. You're going to use some CAD apps if you're using visualization. You're going to use Substance. You're going to use Zinc. We're going to be open constantly going forward. We're going to make sure that all these products can use our file formats. We're going to be using their technology. We want to be about real-world 3D, and that's not about locking anybody in. It's about being open. So with that in mind, last week, Unreal announced support for the Cinema 4D file format. And that's just exciting news if you want to use Unreal to do your real-time visualizations. That was huge news for us. They've been a great partner. They're showing off the stuff, so take a look at it.
I saw someone
But
getting
today
it.
we're going to also be announcing that we're going to be working with Unity.
Yes,
and we'll be
nice.
releasing a plugin for Unity in the fall that gives you that same level of support for Cinema 4D file formats in Unity.
Excellent.
So again, thank you. If you want to use Cinema 4D, it's going to work in your pipeline no matter what pipeline you're using. So that's 3D for the real world.
Okay.
But we talked about the idea we wanted to talk about something bigger than that today. So 3D for the real world is what we've lived and bred, and Cinema 4D is that, right? And Redshift is that, and the people at Redshift have the same view. It's about making the artist more powerful. But I truly believe that there's more to what we've been doing in the 3D industry. I don't think the 3D industry has really opened itself up to be a mass adopted industry. I know there's a lot more designers and artists out there that want to do 3D that have had the opportunity to do today.
Jacob is saying that he wants multi-threaded in R2021.
So today we're announcing a new initiative called 3D for the whole world.
Okay.
We want to get 3D in the hands of everybody who wants to create a beautiful 3D content. And so what does that mean? If you go to our website an hour ago, we just turned it off, so it's not right now, but if you went to our website an hour ago, you'd have a really big choice of how to use our products. But they're all the same products, and they just have random feature sets mixed together. And it's really confusing. And a customer doesn't want to go through that. They want to come in and say, what do I use to create 3D? And the best thing to create 3D is Cinema 4D.
So it's all the same.
So after today, we're only going to be selling Cinema 4D, and we're going to be selling Cinema 4D Release 21. So we're very excited about that. We're going to get rid of any confusion in the market.
Okay.
It's going to be the one and the best Cinema 4D. It's going to have all the features of body paint, prime, visualize. All of them are together. It's going to look better. It's going to run better on your machines. And we're not going to waste engineering time just confusing ourselves by having all these different versions.
How much? That's the golden question, isn't it? Because I just bought my Maxon service agreement. So
a friend of mine reached out to me like 2 weeks ago, or maybe it was a month ago, and said, if you don't fix this, I'm going to be upset because I have friends of mine who want to buy Cinema 4D and I can't. They're in a region and they don't know how to buy it. I mean, how do we want to make software that people can't buy? So we're going to change that. Cinema 4D going forward is going to be extremely easy to acquire. That means we're going to bring out a new global online shop that's going to be available around the world. It's going to be extremely easy to use. There'll be almost no choices because we only have one product. So you're going to be able to go to our website, download a demo, get started with the demo right away, buy the product and not have to read down anything, not have to do serial numbers, not have to do registrations. You're going to have a product that you can use right from download to creation.
No serial
numbers. We're really excited about this.
Okay.
This is going to come with a new entitlement system, so you don't have to worry about losing your serial numbers. You don't have to worry about how do you go from machine to machine to machine. You're going to be able to just take your entitlement with you and go from your office machine to your home machine. And we've been listening to our users on how to do this right. We're not just going to make it hard. You're going to be able to say, oops, I forgot my software running at the office. I'm going to go home and I'm going to turn it off, and I'll be able to switch over. It's about using the entitlement that you have wherever you want, extremely easy.
Okay. It's interesting.
And it's going to be easy to manage. So we're announcing My Maxon, where you'll be able to log in and see all the versions that you have available to you so that you can manage them and see what you have updates to, see how many command line renders you have, see how many versions of Cinema 4D you have, etc. It's going to be extremely easy to manage, extremely easy to register. You can sign up with your own registration. You can sign up with some of your social logins. We're not tracking any of that stuff in any negative way. We just want to make it easy for you to use it.
Cool. So new e-portfolio then, by the looks of things, if I understand correctly anyway.
So
easy to afford.
3D for the whole world. Every industry in the creative space started with selling stuff for thousands and thousands of dollars.
This is a
if you wanted to do
subscription
video editing
model,
20 years ago, you would have been paying $20,000 for a video edit suite. If you wanted to do photography, you're paying thousands of dollars. If you wanted to do desktop publishing, you're doing thousands of dollars. But as each of those industries became mass adoption, they had to fix that. It's not okay that we're charging $3,600 and a subscription on top of it to stay up to date.
I've just bought that.
That's not 3D for the real world. That prevents people who are getting started from learning the software that it's going to allow them to create beautiful content.
Okay.
There's companies right now who are asking for almost that on a yearly basis, and then they're turning around and raising the price. We want to give it to everybody. We want everybody to have the ability to use our software because they're going to create the best content with it, and they're going to become people who join our family. And there's so many artists here that this is critical for us. So we're going to change things. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to make 3D affordable.
I just bought my MSA
And
literally days ago.
In a fair way. There's not going to be a European tax. Some people like it. So what we're going to be offering is a new version of our subscription at $60 a month.
Can you still buy it outright though, if you want?
Or 50 euros a month. That's on a year commitment, and that's without tax. So there is tax on top of that. But that's the base price to get in with the entire Cinema 4D. But we're also going to give you the versions that you want because we listen to our customers. We know what they want. We're not just going to force things on you. So we're going to offer a 1-year subscription to Cinema 4D for $60 a month.
Okay.
We're going to give you a month version for $95 a month. This means you can get in and you can try it, you can use it, you can scale up, you can scale down. And we're going to, of course, continue to offer a perpetual.
Okay,
and
cool.
we're even giving you a price cut on the perpetual. And the perpetual will have an upgrade program. MSAs are gone, but you will have the ability to do upgrades on your perpetual. But the subscription is going to get you more features, faster, and it's going to be easier to use.
Okay, well I thought...
But we also have Redshift. And Redshift sells their product, and they continue doing that the way they always have. We're supporting all the DCCs. There's nothing there. But we do want to give Cinema 4D users that use Redshift ease of use again. We want it to be automatic that you can get Redshift really easy. So we're also going to offer the option to have a Redshift bundle. And so the Redshift bundle for Cinema 4D will be $82 a month or $116 to $117 for a monthly subscription. So we really want to go out there and tell the industry that thousands of dollars a year for 3D software is not okay. We want all those customers to join us in Cinema 4D for the most powerful, easy-to-use 3D application that all the designers and people out there can do it, and we're not going to take away your choice.
Paul says really decent price. Yeah,
licenses. We're still offering multi-seat discounts. If you have an MSA,
I think the subscription is good. Yeah,
discount to get in. So come talk to us, and we'll get it started. All of this is going to be available at the beginning of September, and we want the industry to take notice that it's not okay to be charging this much for 3D. Everybody should be able to do it, and everybody should be able to afford it.
That's really cool. That's really good. Woo!
I mean, so the Maxon team has worked their asses off on this, and I want to thank everybody. Everybody put in a massive amount of work this year to get this done. I mean, we changed up the entire company to make this possible. And so I want to thank everybody at Maxon and all the people who've worked with us, all the artists who use Cinema 4D for helping us get this right. But we're also going to do a little bit further. We want to do the whole world, so we're going to get a part of it. In the fall, we're announcing a 26-city worldwide 3D tour to show off Cinema 4D and get all those new users started with a new affordable package. So come see us. Sponsored by NVIDIA, Adobe, and Dell. We're going to be 15 cities in the US, 11 cities in Europe, and we're also getting interest in Asia, so we'll be trying to get around the whole world. But we'll be out and about in the fall, so come hang out with us, get to know us. Let us help you use 3D and make amazing things. And of course, Siggraph. We love it here. We have a great new release we want to show off. They're going to do a better job than I am showing all the features. But we also have the most diverse set of presenters we've ever had. They're showing off all sorts of different amazing works. So please come by and see all the stuff that they're talking about and all the stuff they're showing. Come join us and help us make the products better, because we're doing this for all of you. So thank you very much, and enjoy Siggraph.
Thank you very much.
Hey, it's Nick here from Grayscale Gorilla, and I'm excited
Hey,
to
Nick.
introduce Grayscale Gorilla Plus. One place where you can stay up to date and learn from engaging artists from all around the world.
So that's the Maxon announcement over and done with. It's a shame that I can't scrub back through the video, actually, because it would have been nice to get that list up to see exactly what's going on. I'm just going to kill the sound for a minute. So what do you guys think? What are you guys thinking about that announcement? Personally, I think that, well, like I said, it would be good to have a look at that list so I could pore over it. I think, Robin's here. Hey, buddy. I think generally that's really good, and it's nice that they've sorted out the pricing and that kind of thing. The fields look really interesting as well. The fields, I'll find me words in a minute. The effects, you know, the attractor and that kind of stuff. It looks. The new pricing is not exciting, to be honest. Well, I suppose for new users it is, and for people that just want to get it on a monthly basis, that's going to be great. But for the likes of me, and I should imagine you as well, if you're saying that you're not too excited about it, I've got a perpetual license, so I've already shelled out the $3,500 initially, and then on top of that, and I'm talking literally days. I mean, I bought Cinema 4D with a Maxon service agreement, an MSA, but I renewed it just so I didn't get caught out in September. I literally bought it. It must have been about 4 or 5 days ago. So it's kind of annoying that this new pricing structure has come out. I hope it doesn't really affect me too. From the looks of things, it won't really affect me, I don't think. But they're saying they're scrapping the MSA and doing something else with it, as sort of like an upgrade path for perpetual users. So the MSA that I've just bought is being scrapped, which is really annoying. What about you guys? What do you think? Is there any features in there that you're excited about? I'm gutted there was no mention of UV tools in there, but like I said, I didn't really get a good chance to look through that list properly. They looked like there was a bunch of volume stuff in there as well. The bevel, the new bevel system looks interesting. But Robin says agree about the pricing. Yeah, he's not too excited about that either. I'm guessing, Robin, that you've got a perpetual license as well. I should imagine most people have got a perpetual license and not doing the short-term ones and, you know, all that kind of stuff. What I do find interesting is the fact that they said they're scrapping the different versions of Cinema 4D. So they're getting rid of broadcast and they're getting rid of, by the sounds of it, it sounds like you just get studio. So that's interesting. I've always gone studio because, you know, they're right about it being difficult as well with that side of things, because when you're poring over the differences between broadcast and I can't even remember the names of them, it's that confusing, but you know, between prime broadcast and studio, and you know, you're going, right, well, what's this one missing, and what's, you know, and I've seen actually in forums where people have been totally disappointed, actually in the comments of my videos as well. They've been in the videos going, I can't find that object, where is it? And I've had to unfortunately tell them, unfortunately what you're looking for is not available in broadcast, because, you know, I've asked them what version they've got, and they said, oh, I've got R19 broadcast, and I said, yeah, well, it's not in that version, and they've gone, oh, god damn it. So I think they've made the right move there to consolidating all these different versions down to just Cinema 4D. It's a lot simpler. You don't have to pore over tons of information for hours on end going, oh, can I do this, can I do that? So yeah, I think they made the right choice there. Barack says, I was expecting something like .max to .c4d conversion feature. They added .step support on R20 years later. Yeah, they did that. Although you can already do that. I think if you go into your Maxon, let me just bring up my folders for you. I'm sure there's some Exchange plugins in Cinema 4D. So if you go into your Maxon folder and go into R20 Exchange, they've got a 3ds Max folder in there. Not that I've messed around with these too much, I've got to be honest, because I was using 3ds Max. Oh, Puff Donny's in the chat. Yo, brother. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, I used 3ds Max on a daily basis, and I've just got a subscriber. Noff TV is subscribed. Thank you very much. Yeah, I was actually using 3ds Max since about 2010 to 2018, and then I went freelance in 2018. And I've got to say, I wasn't impressed with the stability of Max unless you had a really, 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 really high-end system. Sometimes I'd do something as simple as open up the UV editor and the whole thing would just crash. And I thought, well, is it this computer? And the same thing happened on multiple machines. And I've got to be honest, I don't really use Max anymore. It's on my system at home. I won't have it on my system. The last time I had it on a system at home, it blue screened my computer out. So yeah, that's one thing that I will say for C4D. The stability is mwah. I mean, obviously when your scenes get really, really heavy and your resources are being drained and stuff like that, it does get a bit mental. Robin says, actually, for new freelance self-employed users, the month-by-month pricing could work well, and you can cover the price in the invoice to the client. Yes, exactly. I think for that kind of thing, it's going to be super useful. In fact, there was a time when I was having to shell out for the perpetual license, and it hurt me bad financially, and I could have done with that pricing structure, because I could have well, you're essentially renting it, aren't you, on a subscription service, but you could essentially rent it as and when you need it. And when the work dries up a little bit, maybe, and you've got a couple of weeks spare, you can let it expire and go, well, I don't need it right now. And then as soon as you've got a bunch of work in, yeah, exactly. So, and renting it, you can get full tax write-off. Well, I'm a little bit confused by that. I don't know where you are, Robin, in the world, but I'm in the UK, and I bought a perpetual license for $3,500, and I was able to write that amount off my tax in the UK. I could just write it off because C4D is essential to do my job. So obviously, the whole thing can be written off tax-wise, and I think the MSA as well. To keep my software up to date, I can write that off. So yeah, I'd like to hear from you about where you are and what the rules are on that. To be honest, I want to spend my time doing 3D and motion design. I don't want to spend my time, I don't want to spend my time, going through tax forms and all of that stuff. So I got myself an accountant, and so far she's paid for herself already. So I'd suggest doing that. Jacob says, agreed, Robin. Can have another machine rendering while working in C4D. I'm sad about no talk on multi-threading for cloth and particle sims. However, I feel that would be a whole rework of the C4D engine. Robin's in London. So aren't you able to write off the entire amount of your perpetual license then? Because I was pretty sure you could. But like I said, that's the kind of thing I'm letting my accountant deal with, so could be wrong about that. So Robin's saying, Jacob's saying, agreed, Robin. Can I have another machine rendering while working in C4D? I'm sad about. Well, actually, Jacob, you can do that anyway. If you buy a perpetual license of Cinema 4D, what that allows you to do is actually use C4D on your main machine, and then you can install as many render clients as you like on any other machine. So I'm not sure about because at the moment I'm just using my render client. So in fact, I've got that set up in my office right now. I've got my main machine that has my studio license on it, and then I've got two older machines that are basically render slaves, and I've got them hooked up to a network switch. So basically I can team render through my network. I can just render on my main machine and it will send a job off and share it with the other two. So I'm doing basically team rendering over a network with two other slave machines, and I've got my Cinema 4D render clients on those machines. Now, if I was using a third-party renderer like Redshift, that's just a plugin. So obviously on my main machine I can have Redshift installed, and then on my two render clients I'm pretty sure you can, because they take plugins as well, your render clients. So, and Redshift is a plugin, so I'm pretty sure you could just install them on that. Robin says no, only proportion. Oh right, okay. I'll have a word with my accountant about that then. Do any of you guys use cloud rendering, and comment on costs? I haven't done so far, but I have been looking at a couple, namely Render Rocket and a few other things. It looks like Maxon are back. I think they're actually just going to go through a few of the techniques and new stuff. So if you want, we can carry on chatting, or we can dip into this and see what's going on. It's your choice, guys. What do you want to do? Carry on chatting, or do you want to dip into this stuff?
I'll let him talk about it because he can do it a lot better than me. For all of you,
I'll turn it up while I'm waiting for your
live,
replies.
So make sure to register anytime this week before Thursday is your chance to win over $1,000 of prizes. So check it out, C4D Live, and I'll let Marty take it from here.
Thank you. Thanks, Matthias. And thanks everyone who is here and who is home watching this live. I think what Dave just announced, it's great, it's big, and Cinema 4D is always being for the people, and like for artists that are starting at the same time that we use it in Hollywood films. And what I want to show today, and like I did in the Vancouver
Barack says,
edition last year,
I tried to use a couple of times, but I didn't like the render
really
queue thing. I had to wait for 2 days for a still image. That
you
don't
know,
sound
that
right to me,
accent on a graphic,
unless your settings were
even for
super,
graphic
super
designers.
high. You know.
I'm not going to be touching on very, very complicated 3D scenes. For that, you'll have lots of other people doing it over these few days in here and also in the other booths. So yeah, my name is Marty Romances. We have offices in London, New York, San Francisco, and this year also we are opening in Vancouver, which is very exciting for us. It's a company, we started 9 years ago, a few of us in almost a basement, and to see this company growing, it's been incredible. And we grow up with the software as well. Our expertise and what we do, we're mostly known for is some of those films that you see here. We produce all sorts of graphics for them, not only on VFX, but also on-set graphics. And for that, we use Cinema 4D. We also do the same thing for video games. And before I get started, I wanted to play the reel so you can see what we do.
There we go, that's better. When I've used a cloud renderer, not sure which, it gave me a blank window to install, to then install my licenses. From what I know, Team Renderer only works in LAN.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
Thank you, everyone. I have to say that we do create this, we do help directors tell their stories, and we do this through design. But
Robin says, "Wow, that doesn't
do
sound
that,
right
we
unless
need
it was a
technology,
super
and it's
maxed out
thanks
scene."
to
That's what I thought.
People like Maxon and people who are developing the tools that allow us to do those things, where we can thrive on our passion, which is creating all this these sort of graphics. And here you will see games and films in this reel, but also we are very, very in touch with products, real experiences, and prototypes. I'm even wearing today one watch that we designed, and for it we also use Cinema 4D and the cloners to all sorts of stuff that we do, and how important it is to be here, part of this family, which is Maxon. Talking about Maxon and the family, we also were very, very happy and honored to be with them collecting their technical award at the Oscars this last year. Thanks to them, the motion graphics community and MoGraph in general is having the attention that it deserves.
I think
through,
this is
also
essentially.
the Academy. So I want to start.
Oh, okay.
With,
He's actually going to do
looking
something.
at,
Right,
point
okay.
clouds,
Okay.
and that's because it's something that it's very easy and everyone could do it at home, and it's something that we use a lot for some of those very technical ways to visualize different things. We even use it for the most grossing film of the whole history. So something very simple that everyone can do at home.
I'm actually just going to turn this down a minute so I can speak to you guys, because
Subscription system. It's something.
point clouds is something that you've been able to bring into Cinema 4D currently.
For
So
this film, we created
this
some
is stuff
concepts
that's
for a
already been
character.
covered by the
character that we were
by the
having
sounds of
this,
it. Anyway, I'm not sure,
karaoke bar,
but this is
that,
available anyway to watch it
the
and
directors approved was this one.
C4D
And of course, we
live.com,
modeled
I
it,
think.
and thanks to the team, they did an amazing job. We also
I'd really
were
like to get your
very
guys'
happy to be able to
thoughts
use
on
a
what they've
lambda
announced
system,
though
which is
so far
using
about
so
the
many
bevel tools.
different 3D software
Personally, for me
to
myself, the
help our
licensing thing is really good
pipelines
for
with our Cinema
new
4D
beginners.
users and implementing otherwise.
I'm a little
Lots of
worried about
MoGraph
perpetual
when we
license
were
users, but I'll
creating
do
these
some digging into that.
platforms was used, as you can see
But
here.
the thing that I'm really
The final product is this. And
sorry, I've just got
the
to
fun part about this is like all of these
turn this
work
down. Right, the thing that I'm really excited about is the stuff they're saying about speeding Cinema 4D up. So I know someone in the chat was saying, oh, they didn't mention multi-threading. Not specifically, but part of that speed up could be the fact that they've introduced multi-threading to certain modules within Cinema 4D. They weren't explicit saying that, so don't quote me on that. But I'm just saying that one of the ways that they could have got it quicker is by leveraging multi-threading. But I should imagine if they had done that, they would be screaming it from the rooftops, maybe, especially as someone already mentioned in the dynamic system. Multi-threading in the dynamic system, multi-threading for Espresso. I don't know, but that's the part that I'm excited about. And in a lot of ways, when you've got a company that brings out a new product every year and tons of new features every year, that can be a bit worrying, for me at least anyway, because if they're just cramming features in every year and not keeping up with making it smooth, fast, and all the other stuff, you're going to end up with a bogged down mess. And that's one thing that I've always been impressed with Maxon with, actually. One year they'll introduce a bunch of really important big features, and then the next year it'll be speed improvements, and there'll be some extra stuff in there, but there'll be a lot of work done to speed improvements, getting it running better, handling information better and data better, and that kind of stuff. Although it might sound boring, it's like, oh, there's no new features. It's really, what's the word? It's reassuring to hear that, when they've got a release out and that's the kind of stuff they're doing. It reassures me that Cinema 4D is not going to become this horribly cumbersome, bogged down program. So even though it might not be as exciting as brand new sparkly features, it's always good, I think, anyway. So yeah, those speed improvements, it'll be good to get some more information about that and dig down into what those improvements actually are in terms of speed. That denoiser looks really, really cool as well. The fact they're integrating it in to C4D, it means that you can render out, and like they said, it's a post effect, so it means that you can render out, whether it be with physical, pro render, any renderer, they said. So Redshift, whatever, that Intel denoiser will work on all renderers. So what that means for us is that you can render at a much lower quality and then run that denoiser over the top and get comparable quality for way less time. It's going to speed up your renders, which is really cool. Robin says, I guess with the perpetual license you already have will fall under their perpetual upgrade offering. We'll have to dig around to find out. Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. But yeah, so the speed ups that they mentioned there is interesting. Do you guys? Pixelbuster says hello, Sam. Hey, how you doing, buddy? Do you guys want me to crank the sound back up on this on? Are you watching this? Go and shut the hell up. Turn the sound back up. Because if you are, I can do that. But I thought that it might be good for us to chat amongst ourselves about the update in general. Something else that is interesting as well. I thought that they were, especially because of their integration with Redshift, well, not integration, buying out Redshift and now being the owners of Redshift. I honestly thought that Maxon would kill ProRender. I actually thought that they would kill off ProRender, especially as it's not ready for, well, at least in R20, it's still in an experimental stage, I suppose you could argue. It doesn't seem ready for prime time in a lot of ways. And it'd be interesting to see what they've done with ProRender to, one, not only speed it up, but just to make it more useful in general. That'd be interesting to see. But I've got not a lot else to say at the moment. So if you guys want to contribute in the chat, that'd be great. If you've got any questions or not about the new release, because I won't be able to tell you, but just in general, or your thoughts or whatever, that'd be great. Until then, I'll crank the sound back up on this, and we can watch this.
Smaller if we want, and the important part of this, how the render is super quick. I just press render, and if you have this in a massive Alembic file or a multi-million polygon big model, it will go that fast. And the good thing is, like, I can actually have more subdivisions now if I want. I can select all of these polygons.
I think this is stuff we can already do. You can render hair on.
All of a sudden, our point cloud is getting way more dense because we have more points to look at. So the same thing that I was looking at this other one, as soon as you start subdividing it, you start having all of that. This is as simple as that. The problem is that sometimes, depending on your geometry, depending on how close you are from it, you lose some points. And that's why I want to show you a completely different way to create a point cloud that will give us a bit more, a little bit more, it's going to be a modular system that we can, tweak a little bit more and have more variations in the points. And we're going to do this with our friends, the cloner effectors and all of that, and MoGraph effectors, by just creating a cloner. And instead of using hairs, in this case, we're going to clone very tiny spheres. Of course, this is a big sphere.
I think in this case, this is stuff we can already do in R20. And he's using R20. So yeah, I think I'm just going to...
Now we are cloning...
I'm just going to crank the sound down, because this is all stuff that we can already do. This stream was really more about the new version. Well, it was more about the announcement, really, and then having a chat with each other. So general question then, Redshift or Octane? Well, I was looking at both of them, and this is a little while ago. This was before Cinema 4D announced that they were buying Redshift, and I was trying to weigh up between... Sorry about that, guys. Phone going off. That was yeah. So I was trying to weigh up between Redshift and Octane because... Sorry, I'll Christ's sake. The world and his wife are trying to get hold of me. Let me turn that off. There we go. Yeah, so like I said, I was looking at Redshift and Octane before Cinema 4D wanted to before Maxon announced that they were buying Redshift, and I was trying to weigh it up, and a lot from what I could guess from reading forums and that kind of stuff, that Redshift was a lot more ready People were saying that Octane wasn't production ready. I'm not sure about now though, because they've had a new release, and I've not used the new release yet actually, and I need to dig into that. There's not enough hours in the day, to be honest. I'm constantly juggling, and but I've got to say that Maxon kind of made up my mind for me when they bought Redshift, because them owning it means that the integration is only going to get tighter. I'm hoping that they're going to do things like make sure that Redshift materials display in the viewport correctly, kind of integrate it into what they've got with standard C4D materials. In fact, it'd be even better if standard C4D materials just worked with Redshift out of the box. Wouldn't that be sweet? In the correct way, Annibal Ramos says, no Arnold love? I did have a look at Arnold, and for a CPU renderer, it was good. Now, I'm not actually sure. Let me just bring up a browser window, because I've not looked at Arnold for a while. Now, I'm guessing there's still a CPU renderer. Unless they're both now, CPU and GPU. But they were bought out by Autodesk. So already that makes me a little bit dubious, I've got to be honest. I know you're probably thinking, wow, shitting on Autodesk, but I don't like their products, I've got to be honest. Like I said, I used 3ds Max for a good part of a decade. The UI was ugly and horrible. And, I've got to say that right-hand panel, you'd go to grab an empty space and drag the thing up. I mean, I think they have had a UI update since I was using it. But, yeah, I didn't like the UI. It wasn't very intuitive either to find stuff. You know what you wanted to do, but it was a bit difficult to find things. That's one of C4D's greatest achievement, I think. The UI just makes sense, it's intuitive, and it's smooth and fast. It doesn't feel clunky. When you press a button, you don't sit there going, what's happening? And then a window opens up 3 hours later. So at least for the most part, anyway. So I tend to avoid Autodesk in general at the moment. But then again, I'm a C4D evangelist, as you could probably tell from my YouTube channel. It's all C4D pretty much, isn't it? So, yeah. Anything else you guys want to say? These videos look quite interesting, actually, so I do suggest you go over to c4dlive.com and check them out. I should no doubt these videos will be put up at some point after they've gone live as a sort of bunch of talks. So what I will be doing will be adding them to my tutorials page, providing the videos are actually shareable. I'll put them on the tutorials page at digitalmeet.uk and make sure you can cat along. Oh, the other thing that I wanted to mention while we're chatting, in fact, which would be quite useful for me, on my YouTube page, I don't know if you guys that are in this live stream were on my last live stream, but in my last live stream I was trying to get a little bit of feedback about my Patreon page. Largely it's been unsuccessful. I think maximum it got about 18 people that was subscribed to it, to the Patreon, and I basically asked if you guys could let me know why that is. So if you go to the community page on my YouTube channel, so if you go to my YouTube channel and again to go to community, I've put a poll up saying, why don't you, reasons that I wouldn't join the Digital Meet Patreon. I've got a few options here. Lack of Patreon tiers and goals, can't afford the suggested $1 a month, don't like Patreon as a platform. So if you can go there and just give me your thoughts, that'll help me decide whether the Patreon's worth carrying on, whether I need to change what's going on in the Patreon. At the moment, people are saying that they don't like Patreon as a platform. I know they had some ethical issues earlier this year, so yeah, it'd be good to get your feedback on that. Anyway, let's not dwell on that and actually get back to chatting to you guys. Hi, sir. I have a queue. I think he means question. Go for it, mate. Vikash. Hello, Vikash. Welcome to the stream. If you've got a question, that'd be good. While I wait for chat to inundate me, that'd be... I think I'll crank the sound back up. Jacob says, thanks for the stream, Sam, and goodbye. See you later, buddy.
As you can see, we have some polygons, right? What we need to start creating in here, what I want to show you today is how we
This isn't anything new, by the way.
That you can change.
Just wanted to let you know, he's using a Cinema 4D R20, so you're not going to be seeing anything particularly new here.
Because we're going to do it in a modular parametric system and non-destructive, which is very, very important.
But
for that, I want to...
Yeah, I think if you do want to see these videos, just go to c4dlive.com and you can carry on watching this. But I think if the stream, if the chat hasn't got any further questions for me or want to continue further chatting about the new announcements for the, whether that be in terms of the pricing model that they've just announced or the very brief overview and gloss over of the new features. I wish I could get that list back, actually. It'd be really good if I could rewind this stream and actually get that list back up. Oh, can I do that? No, I don't think I can, which is a shame. Sir, whenever I used to make bit bigger environment in C4D, C4D begins to hang. I have powerful workstation PC. Okay, so when you make a larger environment, do you mean in terms of scale or bigger environment in terms of the amount of stuff that's in it? If you could answer that, because I think scale's not going to have any effect. If you've got a scene that's got say a landscape object and it consists of, I don't know, a couple of hundred polys, that's not going to matter. And if you make it bigger, it's still not going to matter. So I gather you mean just the amount of stuff in your environment. Well, scale and lots of contents. Yeah, it'll be the contents that's the problem. Cinema 4D tends to favour lots of polygons over lots of objects, I think. So if you've got one object with millions of polys, I think it would much prefer that. But what you can do is probably about viewing it in real time in the viewport. So if you've got a high-end graphics card, that'll definitely help, and a lot of RAM always helps as well. And don't forget, your CPU can be the bottleneck as well, because all that GPU information has still got to go somewhere. It's still got to go through your CPU. So it all matters. It really does all matter. But what you can do is, say you've got a lot of objects in your scene. Once they're in place, you don't need to see them until render time. So you can use level of detail or something like that. You can even turn them off. Once they're in place, there's no need to have them seen. Forrester does something very cool. I don't know if you guys are... Sir, I have 128 gig of RAM. Wow, that is a lot of RAM. I've only got 32. And typically I don't have that problem. Your scene must be mental. What's your GPU like? Have you got a decent graphics card in there? Because like I said, it's probably more about displaying that amount of stuff in the viewport. It says he's got a GTX 1080 graphics card. Yeah, I've got a GTX 1080 Ti actually, which is nice. But yeah, it's just about it's about being clever with what you're seeing in the viewport. Okay, so if C4D's hanging, it also depends what you're doing as well. If you've got a load of dynamics going on in that scene, you've got a scene with all these objects and they're all dynamic objects, that's going to bog your machine down big time. So you probably want to be a bit more selective about what you've got happening in your scene and a bit more selective about what you've got displayed in your viewport as well. If it's not necessary to display half your scene in the viewport, well then don't turn them off. and then it just helps you concentrate on what you're working on, and also helps with moving around your viewport a lot better as well. So that would be my tips for that. Well, I think we've done the announcement, and the chat is definitely slowing down now. So unless anyone else has got anything else they want to ask or talk about, like I said, if you want to chat about the announcement in terms of the new pricing system, or you've got any thoughts on anything that you might have seen in that list briefly, such as I did notice in that list actually there's new volume stuff in there, and that new bevel looks interesting. Doesn't look like a massive change, but it looks like it could definitely help. And I'm wondering whether, yeah, I'd like to get my hands on that bevel tool actually and just have a good look at how it works. What else? Yeah, the speed improvements as well. The speed improvements and the denoiser, very interesting. So yeah, I think the chat has slowed down now, and I think I'm probably call it quits there. And yeah, I'll see you for the next stream, guys. Bye bye. Fill out that fill out that poll as well that I put in the community bit. Vikash says, sir, can we design 3D fractals in C4D which react to sound? Yes, you could probably do that. I mean, just off the top of my head, you could probably do that with the step effector, a bunch of clones, nested clones, and the sound effector. You can rewind on the YouTube stream list. It appears at 44 minutes. Oh, great. Okay, cool. Cheers, Sam. So they've got it. Oh, Robin's saying cheers, Sam. Pixelbuster is saying thanks, Sam. What was I saying? Yeah, don't forget to fill out that poll on the community page on my YouTube channel. And I feel sorry for APR XM because he's just come in and said I'm late. And I'm just about to leave. So, okay, well, I'll do another stream soon and then we can have more of a chat then. I think that's probably for the best. All right, I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.